This is CTV News with Nafisa Kareem.
Back to life, it's going to be this little jewel sitting in the middle of all these much larger hotels.
Tonight, honoring its Art Deco roots a century later, the plans for an historic building getting new life as a hotel.
Got many people that are in recovery that don't feel safe going into some of the wet barrier housing or low barrier, want to be around like-minded people that are in recovery.
A Nanaimo community urges the province to transform a future supportive housing complex into dry housing instead of low barrier. Plus, Adam finds out how a former UVic student's daily walks with a tortoise are inspiring a visitor from the other side of the globe. Later on the Sawatsky sign-off. Good evening and thank you for joining us. The unique charm and style of an Art Deco building has caught the eye of a Victoria developer who is ready to bring back its shine. The former Power Commission building on Blanchard and Fairfield is being eyed as the site for a new hotel. As CTV's Anna McMillan reports, the developer wants to bring it into modern times while honoring the decades-old style.
Faded but full of architectural intrigue, this office building in downtown Victoria could soon become a hotel.
When we bring it back to life, it's going to be this little jewel sitting in the middle of all these much larger hotels.
The proposal from Reliance Properties is for 126 hotel rooms and a one-story addition. The building went up in 1949 and was once home to the BC Power Commission, which later became BC Hydro.
It's an Art Deco building. Probably one of the last Art Deco buildings built in Victoria before that style kind of went out.
The style is characterized by rich materials and geometric lines, which Reliance wants to maintain.
Even the drawers themselves have curved fronts.
This office once belonged to the Commission's chairman.
We're really looking forward to when the new hotel is here. This is going to be a bar lounge.
The building is currently used by artists as office space. As a local councillor points out, the proposal comes as many other offices sit vacant.
A lot of the office workers who used to be downtown are just not there anymore. And so small businesses, restaurants, cafes really need a boost. The more tourism we can fit in there, the better.
A working group dedicated to hotel development recently determined Greater Victoria needs 2,000 more hotel rooms over the next decade to keep up with demand.
We haven't built many hotels in this region in the last 20 years.
That could start to change should Reliance's application for a heritage alteration permit be approved.
We think we'll have that permit by the end of the year, and we're hoping to be under construction or start our renovation in early next year.
Anna McMillan, CTV News, Victoria.
A Central Saanich restaurant was gutted by a large fire over the weekend, with the building being a total loss. Just after 3 a.m. Saturday morning, a patrol officer from Central Saanich Police Department noticed smoke coming from inside the Garden Fork restaurant in Brentwood Bay. That officer called 911 and fire crews were on scene within minutes, although the building was already fully engulfed. Firefighters spent the next 2 hours knocking down the massive blaze, while at the same time also protecting a neighboring townhouse complex from damage. The Central Saanich Fire Department says crews spent the remainder of the weekend putting out hotspots that continued to ignite. Due to the extensive damage to the building, an investigation has not yet been able to get underway.
Given the extent of the damage, we haven't had crews inside, and we're awaiting on actually a structural engineer to come out. I believe they're coming this afternoon. And then at that point, we'll be able to begin the fire investigation. For us, just out of, safety for our investigators, there's no reason for us to be in there until an engineer is able to say that the building is safe enough for us to go in.
On its own social media, Garden Fork announced it would be closed until further notice because of that fire, and thanked first responders for their quick response. Central Saanich police detectives are leading the investigation into the cause. Nanaimo RCMP are investigating after someone in a vehicle fired shots towards people in a local park last week. Police say the incident happened in Knowles Park near Old Victoria Road and Rainier Street around 8:40 p.m. last Wednesday. The suspect's vehicle is described as a white Audi with several people inside. Police say the vehicle took off immediately after the shooting and no one was injured. Investigators say the shooting was likely targeted and there is no ongoing risk to the public. Anyone with information or dash cam footage from the area is asked to contact RCMP. Redevelopment plans are in the works for what is currently a temporary supportive housing complex in Nanaimo. Tonight, the neighborhood in which it sits is speaking out, not in opposition of much needed supportive housing, but rather transforming it into a dry housing complex. CTV's Andy Garland reports.
Police respond to a call this morning at 250 Terminal Avenue in Nanaimo.
It's just comes with low barrier housing.
The temporary supportive housing complex has been in the Newcastle community for roughly 8 years, which the Community Association says is an ongoing health and safety concern.
Everybody knows the history here. We've had shootings, we've had fires, we've had, ongoing criminal investigations.
BC Housing is currently in the process of redevelopment plans for the site, to include a permanent 50-unit supportive housing building, as well as a future 34-unit affordable housing complex.
The development itself would even be better suited for dry housing.
The Newcastle Community Association is urging the province to transform the future supportive housing complex into dry housing instead of low barrier, and they have the support of City Council.
We've got many people that are in recovery that don't feel safe going into some of the wet barrier housing or low barrier, want to be around like-minded people that are in recovery.
Tonight at City Council chambers, a special governance and priorities committee meeting is taking place to discuss the need for sober supportive housing at 250 Terminal Avenue.
We are inviting the community to talk to us about the need for dry supportive housing in Nanaimo. Council's been talking to the ministry about the need for dry housing in Nanaimo for some time.
The need has also made it all the way to Ottawa, as Nanaimo Ladysmith MP Tamara Cronus addressed the House last week, urging federal funding for sober housing in Nanaimo.
We need safe, stable places for people who have chosen recovery, people who want to rebuild their lives without being surrounded by drugs.
The Housing Ministry did not get back to us today before our deadline.
By showing up to the council meeting and in numbers and writing letters and letting the minister know that the need is great.
The meeting takes place tonight at the Vancouver Island Conference Centre. Andy Garland, CTV News, Nanaimo.
A new exhibit has opened at the Royal BC Museum, allowing you to experience the path to the afterlife as if you were part of the ancient Egyptian elite. It's called Ancient Egypt, Obsessed with Life. The exhibit takes you from the embalming chamber, moving you through to the underworld, where there was a series of challenges that the deceased would have to pass in order to make it into the afterlife. The exhibit is an immersive experience where you can actually put your hands on a few of the objects, including being able to find out what death actually smelled like in ancient Egypt.
There's this new discovery of a 26th dynasty embalming chamber at Saqqara, where they were able to get pots with different recipes of different mixtures written out on them. And so they then were able to take samples of bandages and linen and some of these balms and resins, put them through a gas chromatography mass spectrometry, and extract the chemical data so that they could recreate what those smells were like.
There are roughly 120 pieces of Egyptian artifacts within the exhibit. The visitor experience designer for Obsessed with Life says her favorite element of the exhibit is a false door, where the living would come to visit their deceased relatives who have passed into the afterlife.
So to me, this is the most beautiful point because it just reinforces how very much ancient Egyptians are exactly like us today. We think of our ancestors, we think of our deceased family members and our loved ones, and we continue to speak to them in very spiritual ways. And they already had an idea of this in ancient Egypt.
Ancient Egypt, Obsessed with Life runs until early January. Full overnight closures on the Bay Street Bridge are happening this week as work to repair the crossing is nearing completion. Starting tonight and the next 3 nights, there will be full overnight closures from 7 to 7. It will reopen to 1 lane Thursday morning. Following the overnight closures, the city hopes to determine the date the bridge will reopen to 2-way traffic. Work began in February and is on schedule to wrap this month. The eastbound lane has been closed while construction crews replace the bridge's expansion joints. Since the work began, there has been congestion on the west side of the Johnson Street Bridge during the afternoon rush, as it's one of few routes to get downtown from Vic West. Still ahead, new turf, new look, but at what price?
We're encouraging people to get here early. We're opening the gates 3 hours before kickoff.
Inside Vancouver's World Cup prep, organizers unveil BC Place Stadium upgrades, including a new pitch, amid cost questions.
Cool and wet in Victoria today. We got to 14 degrees for a daytime high. It's 12 currently. Some more showers in the forecast for tomorrow and another cool day, but sunshine and some heat to close the week. Your forecast is next.
Well, Josh, it definitely feels like Monday out there. It's gray. It's kind of cool. So we're hoping for a little bit of a change. How long do we have to wait?
A couple of days. Tomorrow's going to be along the same lines as today. It not only feels like a Monday, if it feels like mid-April, well, that's because that's the last time it was as cool as today. 13.6 for a daytime high today. The last time it was cooler for a daytime high, April 17th. It's 12 in Victoria right now, 12 in Nanaimo. Get some 14s here, Port Alberni, Comox, and Tofino, and you have rain all the way along the southern half of the island, and more of that on the way, thanks to this low pressure system. So we'll see that rain continue through this evening, overnight tonight, early tomorrow morning. I think it breaks down a little bit, and then we'll see a chance of some showers, especially along the west coast. Comox, pretty good chance, and even in Victoria, I think late in the day tomorrow, pretty decent chance of seeing some showers. So it won't be as steady as the rain that we had today, but there is more precipitation in the forecast for tomorrow. And then Wednesday, the start of a drying trend. And after Wednesday, mainly sunny skies for many areas. A little different story in the north. Some showers tomorrow, about 13 degrees. Chance of some scattered showers Wednesday, and then cloudy for Thursday. Some sunny breaks Friday, Saturday, but the sun really doesn't take over as much as it will across other parts of the island. Temperatures will warm up, though, towards the end of the week, back to the mid to high teens. Mid-teens tomorrow for inland areas, gusts to about 40 or 50 kilometers per hour, chance of some showers, and then clearing up through the course of the day Wednesday, and up to 20, 23 Thursday with sunshine, 26 and 27 for daytime highs to close the weekend, head into the weekend. So a handful of degrees above average as some heat returns. Out on the west coast, about 30 gusting to 50 kilometers per hour. Showers tomorrow, especially in the afternoon. 13, 15 on Wednesday and Thursday, with the chance of a few more scattered showers Thursday before things dry up for Friday and the coming weekend. Comox, that chance of showers tomorrow and a high of 18, 19 or 20 for Wednesday, Thursday, and then mid-20s with some sunshine Friday and Saturday. It's sunshine Thursday, Friday, Saturday in Nanaimo. Low 20s by Thursday, mid to maybe even upper 20s for Friday and the weekend. Tomorrow, though, mixed sun and cloud and a few scattered showers. It's a 60% chance, so a pretty good chance that we'll get some. It just doesn't look like it's going to amount to all that much tomorrow. In Victoria, 11 degrees tomorrow morning. Not all that much warmer than today, 15 or 16 for a daytime high. Again, it's a 60% chance, so better than 50-50 chance that we get some showers, but nothing as heavy and steady as today. For most of the day, it's just going to be mostly cloudy. 18 Wednesday. We'll get some clearing late in the day Wednesday, and then sunshine for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Average daytime high is 19. We should be in the low 20s Thursday, Friday, and mid-20s for the coming weekend. So mid-teens today and again tomorrow, but mid-20s by Saturday, Sunday.
All right, we'll keep the sunglasses close. Thanks, Josh. Well, 4 days to go until Canada welcomes its first ever FIFA World Cup games. And officials in host cities in Toronto and Vancouver say they're ready for kickoff. BC Place Stadium, where 7 matches will be played, underwent a number of upgrades and renovations to get ready. And as CTV's Andrew Johnson reports, all that work didn't come cheap.
The province has spent close to $200 million bringing this 43-year-old venue up to World Cup standards. But one of the most noticeable differences can be seen outside. Airport-style security. Media today passed through one of the checkpoints that will greet tens of thousands of fans on the weekend. Getting into the building is going to take time, but the head of the venue says they believe they can fill the stadium in under an hour.
We're encouraging people to get here early. We're opening the gates 3 hours before kickoff.
Many of those fans will be arriving on foot after taking transit with the streets around the stadium closed to traffic. At field level, crews are maintaining the multi-million-dollar grass that was grown in BC's Fraser Valley. UV grow lights are in place, and there is also tightly controlled in-ground irrigation.
Right now, the roof, we like to keep it open on non-match days. It helps the growth of the grass to get as much natural light and air circulation around the pitch. But likely on match days, it will be closed just to create that consistent environment, in particular for broadcast television.
The team areas are also ready to go.
This will be Canada's dressing room for their first match here in Vancouver.
More than 50,000 fans are expected to fill these seats Saturday in front of a worldwide audience of 130 million when Turkey takes on Australia. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
With a fragile ceasefire being tested in the Middle East, the markets have remained steady. But as oil and gas prices continue to fluctuate, Ottawa has announced a program to help the airlines cope with high fuel prices. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver takes us through the relief package and how it will work.
Ahead of a busy travel season, the federal government is offering airlines a boost to help offset the impact of turbulent oil prices.
This is an important step, an important signal from the federal government that they are watching this situation closely and that they're willing to put some money on the table to prevent difficulties from taking place in the Canadian airline industry.
Experts say domestic ticket prices in Canada have gone up at least 15% since the war in Iran began. In late April, U.S. Gulf Coast jet fuel hit $4.34 USD a gallon. Now it's fallen to around $3.50 a gallon, still well above the pre-war price, where it hovered around $2.
It will take some time for things to go back to normal. Even if the Strait of Hormuz reopens this month, it's going to take time for ships to travel back to it and then the oil from the Middle East to hit global markets.
The Finance Department says that's why they're offering airlines up to $150 million in repayable loans to provide stability and to ensure continued reliable flight access for Canadian air travelers.
The marketplace will drive airline behavior. This strategy of $150 million with strings attached is not going to be enough to drive the airline behavior.
The Conservatives, though, doubt this plan that's similar to what Ottawa offered airlines during the pandemic will help passengers.
The consumer is never the one that gets the benefit from any of these government bailouts. They are not fixing the crux of the problem.
Airlines who choose to apply for these loans will have to agree to limit executive compensation and to maintain Canadian operations. But the exact details, according to finance officials, will be up for negotiation. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Coming up, an inspiring pet. Adam finds out how a tortoise who goes for daily walks is spreading joy to the people he passes. Next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off.
You see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Finally, Adam finds out how a former UVic student's unexpected pet is inspiring a visitor from the other side of the planet on tonight's Best of Sawatsky Sign-Off.
Oh my God, I'm from Australia and I think this is amazing.
Jan Stewart has traveled here from Australia to photograph as many creatures as she can.
I can't believe it, that you've got this walking up the street.
Before we introduce you to who's walking, if you asked Jan to rank all the animals she's encountered in Canada,
elk, marmot, orcas, seen bears in the wild.
Just happening upon this tortoise named Pong is proving to be the #1 best by far.
It's incredible. I think it's beautiful. Love it.
Well, Simon Damborg doesn't disagree. He's not surprised to see the tortoise saunter down the street because the prehistoric-looking reptile is his roommate.
I wake up and there's usually a dinosaur sleeping on my kitchen floor, and it would be weird to not have that now.
Pong arrived in Simon's life after the tortoise outgrew his friend's place and required somewhere to recuperate after surgery.
And so, yeah, it was a temporary rescue 3.5 years ago.
It stopped being temporary when the process of rehabilitating the reptile created a permanent place for Pong in Simon's heart.
My heart is just jumping.
For Maria, seeing Pong is like love at first sight.
I feel, oh my God, it's so beautiful feeling. Look at that.
Whether he's sauntering down the sidewalk for his daily dose of exercise or watching others work out at the gym Simon and his partner own, Pong seems to always be lifting people's spirits.
That's wild, man.
Just the amount of joy that it brought people. I mean, they'd walk with us for hours just to watch his little leggies mosey down the street.
So Simon started sharing images of Pong's life in and out of their apartment on social media, showcasing the diaper he wears to work, how he's learned to open the fridge to get a healthy snack, and by speeding up the video, illustrating how the tortoise likes to stay as close to his family members as he can.
Hope that the joy that people get from seeing him, kind of like a pay it forward, that they go out of their way to do something to help bring joy to some other people.
A joy that's set to spread to the other side of the world, albeit at a tortoise pace, when Jan starts showing her photos of Pong to friends and family in Australia.
It's just amazing. It's amazing.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Vancouver.
He is adorable. That is it for CTV News Vancouver Island. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night.